What's up, world? Andrew Rothermel, Above and Below Health and Fitness. Today's video is a tip for my Healthy You Challenge. Week 1 is tracking nutrition for 1 week. So again, check out my other video on some of the benefits of why you should track your nutrition temporarily, not full-time. And I'll talk about that later. But track your nutrition for 7 straight days. And then my second tip was to how much protein should you be eating per day. So now I want to give you a tip on where should the rest of your calories come from: carbs and fats. We have 3 main macronutrients: proteins, carbs, and fats. And I gave you information on protein. Check out my previous video if you haven't already. And today I'll give you a little bit of information on carbs and fats. So depending on who you listen to, you'll get a wide variety of answers. So if you listen to people who are pro-ketogenic diet, they'll give you, the information on eating all fats and no carbs. Obviously proteins as well, some. And then if you listen to people who are textbook oriented, you'll read that diets should be upwards or close to 75% carbohydrates, specifically if you're an athlete. And it could be slightly less depending on who you are, maybe 60% if you're sedentary. But textbooks will typically recommend a high carbohydrate diet. And there's lots of different reasons, to get into about these conversations. But I just want to stick to, a pretty straight to the point answer here. And I want to just give you a little information. So if you're overweight, all right, my recommendation is to have a little bit higher fat content compared to carbohydrate content. The reason for that is that if you're overweight, you're probably already taxing or have previously taxed your pancreas and your insulin response system. And by reducing your carbohydrate intake and increasing your fat intake, you give that insulin response system in your pancreas a little bit of a break. So that's a good thing. We kind of reset our insulin a little bit. For general health, I also think that a higher fat intake is a good thing. Fat is important for our sex hormones, so testosterone and estrogen, as well as it helps to provide a protective layer for our nervous system, for our neurons. So that's extremely important as well. So definitely do not get rid of your fat intake. It's important for a lot of reasons. So my recommendation, actually it might surprise you here based on saying that, is that it really doesn't matter overall. As long as you're hitting the calorie requirement that you should for your goal. If that's to gain weight, it's excess calories. If it's to maintain weight, it's a caloric intake that helps you maintain weight and an equal amount of calories out as calories in. And if your goal is to lose weight, then you need to be in a caloric deficit, so less calories than you need to maintain weight. So as long as you're adding up the calories to hit those totals based on your specific goal, then the calories really don't matter. I think you can get a slight benefit by manipulating them somewhat and maintaining your protein intake, a higher protein intake, and a slightly higher fat intake. Both those two things, fats and carbohydrates, allow you to have a little bit longer or sustained energy levels, whereas carbohydrates give you that kind of crash, right? So if you're, for example, if you're a diabetic and you're low on sugar, right? Your blood sugar levels are low, and you're kind of crashing. What do they give you? They give you something sweet and something quick because it's carbohydrates like cookies and orange juice and things and candy and chocolate, things like that hit your system very quick. So it's a quick source of energy, whereas fat and protein and protein's not really even an energy source, but fats specifically are a longer source of energy. So to kind of get back on point here, my recommendation is that it really doesn't matter. However, if you want the best results, I think you'll see better results by maintaining a higher protein intake and a higher fat intake and reducing your carbs a little bit, and that's for weight loss, and I also believe for health as well. We just don't really need all the extra sugar in our system. So 75% carbohydrates, that's quite a bit, and I don't think from what I have been able to read about sugar and its you know, how it impacts our health. I recommend a higher fat diet in comparison. But again, nutrition is individual. So, you know, experiment with your body. That's the cool thing with all this. Nutrition and exercise, it's a huge experiment on yourself. So you are the scientist of your own body, and you are able to you know, manipulate things. You're able to add this and add that and subtract this and subtract that and try this and try that, and, you know, just watch and see how you feel. Watch the changes in your body, and, you know, get a better understanding of what works for you. So I guess that's the overriding theme: what works for you within the structure of what I've already said. So that's my goal, or that's my recommendations for you, where the other calories should come from. Okay. Let's wrap this up. All right, Andrew Rothmel, Above and Below Health and Fitness. This is my week 2 tips. Where should the rest of your calories come from? Talk to you soon.